Hey there, welcome to September 2022, where we're going to be experiencing a 6 universal month in a 6 universal year. Stay tuned as myself and perinumerologist and Susan Saucier, spiritual transformational coach, we're going to be discussing what does that mean for you? It's going to be time to decide whether you're going to jump in or know enough to step back. Thanks so much for joining us today. I'm so pleased to be back with Susan Saucier. Hey, Susan, how are you?
I am great, and how are you?
I'm doing great. It's always fun to get together and share what's coming up.
Absolutely.
We're always ready to provide these forecasts for everybody so they can kind of navigate their way through. Susan's going to be talking about the astrological side, and she'll be bringing in some angel cards, some special meanings to everybody. We'll come through that. And I'm going to be looking at the numerological influence of September 2022. So Susan and I were talking about this here a few minutes ago, and both of us are kind of looking at each other going, oh my, this is going to be a 6 on a 6. So I'm not going to lie, guys, it's that can be kind of intense. There's no question, but it's not something that we can't manage. We just need to know how to navigate, right? So the 6, let's talk about the 6 for a little bit. So the 6 for 2022, we know that 2022 is a 6 universal year. And this has been a big focus on home and family. It's on your physical home and your actual family. It can be your work family as well, but it's a focus on that. Now, but the fact that it's 2022 means that we've got 3 number 2s going on. So that relates to partnerships, but the partnerships really, because of the 6 influence, relate to partnerships within the home. So this could be you and your wife, you and your husband, this could be you and a parent, you and a child, this sort of thing. So it's going to be 2022 has been, it's winding up pretty quickly, isn't it? But 2022 has been a year where there's been a huge influence on us. It's asking us to check in with ourselves to see what responsibilities have we taken on. And why have we taken on these responsibilities? Why do we feel like we're the only ones that can do the job? Why do we feel like we're the only ones that can take care of mom or dad or whatever? So it brings in this need for perfectionism, especially as it relates to how you handle your family. So I tend to call this a year of family drama. However, you can call it family focus if you'd prefer. I mean, some years are better than others, right? But there can be a little bit of drama going on just because everybody wants a piece. Everybody's kind of lobbying for their position, right? How do I fit? This is about partnership, right? So how do I fit in this relationship? So you might be in a timeline where you're looking for some healing to happen between you and a family member. You guys might be having to get together, siblings coming together to decide what happens to mom, what happens to dad. They're getting to a point where we have to make some decisions on their behalf. You might be looking at your physical home and wondering, is this really for me? Like, am I meant to stay here? Is this physical home the right fit for me? Or maybe I just need to renovate. Or maybe I'm feeling inspired to beautify my home. These are all influences of the 6. Now, we're going to be bringing in that 6 energy from September. And how do I know that? Well, September is the 9th month. We add that to the 6 for the universal year. It comes to 15, and 1 and 5 equal 6. So we know that this is a 6 universal month. So it's a time when there's likely going to be more demands placed upon you. And you need to really check in to determine, if you are over delivering. Are you over promising? Are you getting overly involved with your family? Is there a way that you can kind of step back, or do you feel that you have to have that control? And if so, ask yourself why. What could possibly happen if you let go of the control, and maybe you let your brother or your sister handle a situation, or maybe let one of your kids have a little bit more responsibility in the home. What's the worst that could happen, right? Is that a hill you want to live and die on, basically? Because the 6 energy kind of says, well, if I want it done right, I kind of have to do it myself, right? And that's not always the case, because sometimes, I know from 27 years worth of experience in my previous life, I took on way too much responsibility, had all the balls up in the air all the time, and I became really resentful. And I learned that because I took on all the responsibility, the reason I took on all the responsibility was because I felt my self-worth was lacking a little bit. I didn't feel really good enough about myself. So there were some areas that needed to be kind of healed, I guess. So I reached for a whole bunch of responsibilities to kind of bandage the wound within me. But in the effort to do that, I was kind of disempowering everybody in my path, telling them that they were kind of not really good enough. And you can only tell somebody that so many times before they go, fine, right? And they leave you with all the balls up in the air. So, last month, August was kind of scattered. It was a little bit, a lot of change going on. You might have felt a little bit dizzied around the drain kind of thing, trying to figure out where you're going and what's going on and why is all this happening and all these unexpected events. And it's kind of like, I want the experience. I want the change. I'm feeling kind of anxious and interested in making things happen. But now as we shift into getting really closer to the fall, now you're coming into September, you're starting to feel that sense of responsibility. It's like, I got to stop playing games. I got to stop being unfocused. I got to, be a little bit more committed and a little bit more responsible. So, you want to make sure that you're asking yourself, is it really important for me to jump in right now? Or is it more important for me to jump back? Okay. Become the observer and allow other people to serve. Because that's the thing with the six is calling us to be of service. And sometimes, especially if you have a dominant 6 in your chart, maybe your life path number is a 6, or you're in a 6 personal year, you're going to find that the demands on you are great, but they're self-imposed. Take a look at that and ask yourself, is this an expectation that the family is putting on me? Or is it an expectation I'm putting on myself that I'm afraid I'm not going to meet, which causes us to kind of jump in there. So really determine what you're responsible for. I also want you to consider, how are you going to establish balance in your life? Many of us have more than one family. If you're married, you might have your husband's family, you've got your family, and everybody, it's the thing with the 6 energy, everybody's vying for your attention, and you're just kind of like doing one of these, like, well, this person wants me here, my workplace wants me at work, and this is great. I'm at work and I'm making a living and I'm supporting my family, and this is all great. And then your family calls and says, well, we need you at home. So you leave your work and you go home and you support your family, and this is great. I'm helping my family, but I really need to be back at work. And it's just like, I can't win. So self-care this month is going to be really, really important. You have to prioritize yourself this month. It's very, very important to show self-love, right? The 6 also breeds this energy of guilt, right? It's like, oh my God, if you guys are 6 life path numbers, you know it, right? There's guilty is tattooed across your butt. So when you came out of your mother's womb, that is the influence of the 6 for sure. So make sure that you are checking in with that, and maybe not setting crazy, unrealistic expectations for yourself. The other thing is that before you jump in to rescue a situation or take control or whatever, I want you to pause for a second and ask yourself, how important is it for me to jump in to rescue this situation? How important is it for me to be sure that I take care of it? The 6 is not unlike the 9. The 9s are the fixers. The 6s are the fixers too. The 6s are more connected to their home and to their family and being there for them, where the 9s are more outward, more of a humanitarian focus. But the need is the same: to be there, to be the savior, to wear the tights, to wear the cape, to fly in, swoop in and save the day kind of thing. But I want you to pause before you do that and ask yourself, who is it I am rescuing? Am I rescuing the person because that's exactly what I need to do and it's the right thing to do? Or am I rescuing myself from the pain I'm going to feel if I don't jump in? That's a good indicator as to whether this is a good thing for you to jump in for. Because if you're rescuing yourself, you got to be really honest with yourself. Am I doing this because I just can't stand to watch it anymore? And that's all about you. And that's not a good way to go into this. Okay. I did pull a card for us tonight to further the message. It's coming from the Soul's Journey lesson cards from James Van Prague. So my book's a little bit beaten up, but anyway, the card that I pulled kind of surprised me initially when I pulled it, because I tuned into spirit and asked to bring a card that would be perfect for those watching and would be really in alignment with the message. So this is the card that came up, Indecision, and it says, I use my intuition in all aspects of life. It goes on to say, Your soul is spirit manifest in this physical dimension. Even though you may feel limited by the constraints of your body, your connection to the infinite wisdom of the universe is always available to you in the form of intuition. You are never alone when making any decision. Spirit only wants the best for you, and by listening to your inner voice, you will always be guided to the proper outcome. All you have to do is ask. The expectation, this is where it gets relevant to the topic, the expectation of others is only an illusion. You were not born, best line ever, you were not born to listen to fear. You were taught to listen to it. Visualize any decision in your life as a fork in the road. How does your body react when you imagine your travels down each path? At first glance, one may look easier to traverse, but the destination will cause anxiety and a heavy heart. Another path may be more difficult to walk, but the destination will feel light and calm. When you silence your mind and listen to your intuition, the signposts will always be obvious. And so I guess when we think about this, we have to think about the fact that, stepping in to take over a situation or be responsible to your family is a decision. But is it always the good decision? Is it always the right decision? You're naturally wired to feel that that's what you should do, but what you should do is coming from here, right? What you feel you should do is coming from here. So we want to make a decision based on what we feel. So we want to make a heartfelt decision. So I just put that out there in hopes that maybe that will speak to you and make your journey through September 2022 just a little bit easier, because this can be an awesome month. This can be a month full of celebrations, family reunions, all kinds of stuff. But just remember that you don't have to be there for everybody all the time, right? It is not your job. It is not your responsibility to be there all the time. So recognize that sometimes you have to step back and fill your own cup before you can spill out over to nurture somebody else. What says you, Susan?
Oh my gosh, Anne, that was just right on target and beautiful and such a great message. Thank you, for doing what you do. But yeah, I mean, it's the way it feels is that we have started the beginning of the year as we go into this, we've been in the 6th year for quite a while now. And it's as if it's been all about, relationships and patience and working with family and career and each month we're gifted with a little bit of a different thing we have to live and learn with. And it's like we're heading towards the end of the year, and we're at that point where it's showing us, okay, you've learned so much from the beginning of the year to now. How are you going to apply it going forward, right? So that makes so much sense what you were saying. So what we have is in September, we're going to be in Virgo. So Virgo, and that's all about perfectionism.
Is it? Okay.
And it's all about organization and all that stuff. But they have most Virgos, and we tend to take on the energy of the month. And everyone has that sign somewhere in their chart. Obviously, just as you mentioned, if you're already a 6, a lot of that in your chart, you're going to feel it more intensely. Same goes with the Virgos. They probably will feel this a little more during this month. But the perfectionism is huge as far as self-care and how we're giving to others and overdoing that, because again, I feel like what you said about that rescuing, and then feeling I need to do this and I need to take care of that one and this one and that one, and taking all of that in and exhausting yourself, and then feeling resentful and angry, and then feeling guilt, because I have that in my papers too about guilt can play a big part, and just learning how to put yourself first is going to be really, really big this month, and not in a selfish way, but in a way that honors yourself, that's going to be really big. And then we're going into Libra towards the end of the month. So that's all about family relationships and, partnerships and self-love as well. And learning what you're doing for others is also playing a part in what you're doing for yourself. It's that reflection that goes back and forth. So we do have the full moon in Pisces on September 10th. And we have the new moon in Libra on September 25th. So, and then, I hate to say this, everybody, and I say that, but then again, Mercury retrograde, it's not that bad. Only if you want to make it that bad. People kind of panic, and I always say it slows things down. And we've been feeling really like speeding up the last few
Yeah,
months.
yeah.
So it's going to slow things down. And it's like a review, right? So we're in college and we're taking our break and going, okay, let's see what I've learned over this last few months and go from there. So you can look at it that way, as a positive way. But the full moon in Pisces is going to be about, it can be about endings and transitions. So there's a lot of that that might be happening with relationships, with family members, with
Mm.
careers and jobs, all that kind of things. What you feel is not serving you anymore. Pisces is a water sign. That's going to be around September 10th. So give or take a day or two before you're going to feel it more intensely. Water signs being deep emotions, and also with Pisces, they're extremely intuitive and psychic. So you'll probably notice a heightened sense of your intuition as well. Pay attention to it, but also notice if you're taking on some emotions that are not feeling, they might be feeling intense, but you might not be understanding why you're feeling that way. That'll be the time when you say, are these even mine? Do they even belong to me? Because it is a time where you can easily pick up other people's emotions that don't belong to you. So you have to know where you end and where they begin and so forth. And that's really, really prominent in the family relationships that we're going through right now. There's so many dynamics that are happening this year. Of course, we started in like 2020 with the COVID forcing everyone together,
Yeah.
then getting through the next year of who's going where and whatnot. And now it's about learning how important family is and relationships, but also setting that boundary and that line of where am I overgiving, where am I overstepping, and where am I rescuing just to rescue because I don't want to deal with it anymore. And that's also a Pisces thing too, where they love to escape reality. So it's like, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. So I'm just going to go. You figure it out. Or they're just going to take on that Virgo personality and go, I'm going to take all of this on. So it's all done. And then I'm going to finally go and relax. But you're going to be sitting there miserable by yourself, so frustrated you didn't take any help that was offered or demand help. And sometimes you have to do that. You have to stick up for yourself. You don't want to fall victim also into that self-pity mode with Pisces, which can happen because then it can fall into the addiction parts where you start going, whether that's shopping or, alcohol or overeating and feeling poor me, I'm going to have a bucket of ice cream and all that good stuff. So you want to just pay attention to where you can use it in a positive way, which is the intuition and how am I feeling. It is all about really touching base with your feelings. And then we've got the new moon, which is September 25th in Libra. So this is going to be all about, it should feel a lot better. It's going to be about peace and harmony, love and balance, but it is all about home and family and nurturing, which goes along with the 6, as you mentioned. So it can feel heavy, but again, I love what Anne said earlier is you have a choice. You can look at this like, oh no, this is just too much. I can't handle it. I don't want to do it. Or you can look at it and say, what lesson is it teaching me? What can I learn from this? What opportunity is it offering me? Look at it more in a positive light. And most times you can find an answer to the situation and then you're able to move on. You're able to release that in a positive way and learn from it. But with Libra and the new moon, it is all about comfort, rest and security and compromise. So it is going to be a lot about learning where you can, deal with that in conversations. It's going to be big that you don't just assume like a lot of those opinions are wrong or right or judgmental, because that could be a Virgo thing too, being very judgmental and opinionated. And
That's a 6 thing too.
right. Yeah. So I feel like we're really learning this month in September. It's going to be about stepping back before you jump in and really reassessing the situation before you just want to, blow up or explode or, shut down. It's like, this is happening to me for a reason. How can I learn from it? How can I grow from it? And what can I do to improve it going forward? Mercury retrograde begins September 9th and ends October 2nd. It is, remember though, the shadow phase is about 2 weeks before and 2 weeks after. So that means we can still have a little bit of issues running in and around that time. This is the third of the 4 Mercury retrogrades for 2022. The last is going to be in December. and run through January. So New Year's Eve should be interesting.
Right over the holidays.
Just saying.
Yay.
We'll deal with that later. But so this Mercury retrograde will be happening in Libra and Virgo. So let's think about what we just said. We're going to be reassessing. It's always about the reassessing, reevaluate, rethinking, redoing, even remodeling if you're doing your home. Like you mentioned, these are all redos that you have the opportunity to. So relationships, family, co-workers, your job, is it serving you, or any of them serving you? And if they are, what are ways you can improve them? And you might even find, because you are open to this, what we're saying, that it can improve in astronomical ways, because you're sitting there saying, I'm going to listen, and maybe I need to take ownership. Maybe I overdid that. Maybe they did offer to do the dishes. I'll let them load the dishwasher. And instead of being the one that, sneaks in behind them and fixes it all or yells at them, you just walk away and say, hey, someone just did that for me. So it's learning to accept the gifts that are given to us instead of thinking we can do them better.
That's an awesome point, because 2022 is 3 2s, right?
Yeah.
And the 2 is learning how to receive.
Yeah. It's a big,
Right.
because I've noticed not everyone, those who are major, well, you said 6s are a lot of caregivers, nurturers. So those who are feeling it really deeply this year, and 6 this month, September, is really going to push you to say, do you want to keep overgiving and suffocating yourself? Or do you want to give to you first so you have more to give to everyone else after?
It's like a bank account. You can put money in the bank account and save it, because someday if somebody needs it, you'll have it to give.
Exactly.
Right? But you had to take it for yourself first.
Yes.
And to put it away so that you'd have it to give to someone else.
Absolutely. So and I think with Virgo too, it's about diet, health, exercise, self-care, like you talked about. It's pay attention to think about what that does to your body when you are just, you're getting a call from, a lot of people too, I'm finding out, are dealing with their elderly parents and running, either taking them in or they're trying to run around and take care of them as well. Plus their adult children are in college, or their young kids. There's a lot of family dynamic that's going on right now, and people are really trying to push their careers and do well with that as well. So it's Libra, balance. Where can I balance the two? And how many of you, if we were to ask you right now, know you are definitely in the overgiving category? I'm sure there's a lot of people raising their hands that are just depleting themselves, and you're going to run out of energy, and then that no longer be that little Energizer bunny anymore running around. To be like when it goes at the end where it barely has any energy left.
I often tell people the story when Serge, my partner, and I, we first moved in together. We'd been together for probably 2 weeks or so, and I came home from work, and I came through the front door, and I looked down the hall, and I yelled at him, and I said, Serge, what are you doing? And he looked at me and he went, laundry? And I said, why? And he said, I don't know, Ann, maybe because our clothes are dirty. Like, why else would I be doing laundry? And I started to say, but you don't have to kick in. Right? And it was such a defining moment. I will never forget it. I laugh about it now, but it was such a big moment for me to go, no, we're always in a position to teach people how to treat us. Right. This is a significant relationship. I want to get off on the right foot. I am not going to teach him that he's the only one, or that I'm the only one that can do the laundry. Right?
Exactly.
It was just that one little funny moment where I went, oh, okay, there it is. Right? There it is.
I love that.
And him, he's such a giver. Like, he does 90% of the cooking in our house. He does 90% of most. And he just lets me work. But he works too. But he's extremely giving. He likes to give. But the big treat for me is I have to learn how to receive it without feeling guilty.
Right. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And then you have to also understand too that, we're all on our own life journey. And when we keep rescuing and overgiving and helping others, then we're not allowing them to thrive and grow on their own. You know, it's kind of like that mother bird who pushes her babies out of the nest so they can fly.
Yeah.
And those of us who are overgivers, we run down and pick them up and go, oh, it's okay, we'll try again another day.
Yeah.
You know, where the bird will literally leave them down there and make them, you know, really work hard at learning to fly. And I'm like,
I saw
oh,
that
okay.
one day. I actually saw
Yes,
a
we did
grackle.
too. It was amazing.
Oh my God, this goes.
We were trying to rescue the bird, so that was bad.
Yes,
My daughter and I are out there trying to rescue the bird, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is a lesson.
right, exactly. I watched a mother grackle haul out by the head 4 of her babies out of her nest. She was in the crook of a tree, right in the hole of a tree, and she hauled them all out. And she put them all in this branch, right? And after she got the 4th one out there and situated on the branch, like, you're getting out. This is your eviction notice. You're done, right? They all flew back in, right? So she pulls them all back out again. She throws them on there. And then eventually she throws herself over the hole of the tree, and she's looking over her shoulders after she gets them all out. So you're not coming home.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
They
Oh
know
my
how to
gosh.
do it, right?
But that's right. It's nature, and they're teaching us, and it's like, learn. This is what we're
Yeah.
doing. It's not because we don't love any of this help, but it's we're not allowing those. And then you will have those who become so codependent because
Oh,
in both
yeah.
ways, you know, you get the
Yeah.
one that's just going to keep receiving, and they're off balance, and the one that's overgiving is off balance. So it's like, okay, let's all find a compromise, meet in the middle. You know, you can take that, and you might not do it the way I like it, but hey, someone's trying to help you, so
Yeah.
let them do that, and then you can maybe get on to something else. But
Exactly.
it's a big lesson this month, and it is. It's going to be juggling,
Oh,
but you can use it to your advantage.
all
Yeah,
right.
definitely use it to your advantage. Oh, I do have a card I did pull too,
Perfect.
which just is called Heart Song. And it says, what is your heart saying? Stop and listen. Your truth lies within the empty spaces between your thoughts. Your truth shines through from within your soul. Your truth is that which is eternal and unchanging. Your truth is love. So I like that
And
one.
the 6 is all about love. That's
Yeah.
a great card.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you for that.
That's I got those when I was in London before, so those are I don't know the name of the deck, but
Excellent.
yeah,
It's a
it
great
is. It comes down to love and love of self and love of others, but definitely self-love because, as we said, it's going to give you more to provide to others.
Exactly. And that, my friends, is what the theme of next month is going to be. So it might be kind of demanding. You might feel like a bit of a juggler. You might feel kind of torn in all different places, but ask yourself, you know, what do I need so I can continue to give, right?
Yes.
You've got to give to yourself first, or you're just going to be a martyr and you're going to be bitter and you'll
Yeah.
be of servitude rather than of service, because the
Yeah.
heart loves to be of service, but the heart does not like to be of servitude. So,
Exactly.
yeah. So what have you got coming up? Anything?
I do not have anything coming up. I'm still working where I am doing one-on-one sessions. I'm also doing courses that I have 6-week courses. I have the 3-week inner child course, which has been going fantastic. And with those, I also give personal guided meditations that they receive after we review everything with them that they're needing for the inner child, which has been great, and some binary ones, which is awesome too. And I am going to be doing some packages for long-term coaching because I have a lot of people interested in that. So that's going to be coming up for
Excellent.
kind of thing. So thank you.
You can find Susan at spiritsandbeyond.com. I've actually had the opportunity to have several readings with her, and they're always amazing. So she offers really good coaching through everything she does. Like, I really just love what you do.
Thank
You make
you.
it simple and you know, you can take it in and make something of it and get moving in a direction that's more positive than when we first arrived to see you.
Yes.
So I want everybody to know that my Clarity Seekers community is now open. We are having so much fun in there. We opened on the July 15th, and so you might want to check it out. I've got some really great guest speakers coming up. August 30th at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, Allison May is coming. She is a light language coach. She activates you to speak soul language. It is unbelievable when you listen to her. I actually have a video on YouTube right now that we just did today that demonstrates exactly what this is all about. So it's unbelievable work. So you might want to check that out. And then on Tuesday, September 13th, we've got Annette Dalou coming back in. She's a transformational coach, and she's going to be teaching us all about how to create some kick-ass affirmations that never fail. And on the 27th of September, she's coming back to teach us how to build our own crystal grids to place our affirmations into. Okay, so this is all happening under the umbrella of the Clarity Seekers community, and you can find it on my website, amperrynumerologist.com. You can join now for $22, right? And you get 4 numerology classes live with me each month, plus your live guest speakers. So it's just a really great time to be able to connect. So I hope that you'll consider joining us.
Yes.
So I look forward to seeing you this time next month, Susan. Hoping you're having a great month ahead.
Thank you. I do as well. And I just wanted to shout out for you too that, Anne does amazing numerology readings. She is extremely intuitive. So she doesn't just talk about the numbers. She jumps in with her team and lets you know what's going on an intuitive level as well. So it's amazing. So highly recommend it. It's always a pleasure.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that. We look forward to seeing you both, or both of us look forward to seeing all of you this time next month when we're going to be talking about what's coming up for you in October. So October is going to be a really interesting month because it's going to be a 7 universal month moving into a 7 universal year. So that'll be a really, really interesting conversation. So I hope that y'all will join us. Thanks so much. Hoping you're having your best day ever. And we look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye for now.
Bye.